Hi Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope for October 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm in the UK, so my horoscopes are based on UK time. Please note that. And please watch them in this order: rising sign first, then sun sign, and finally the moon sign. And what I'm going to do is I'll break the month down into 4 weeks. I'll have I'll pay specific attention to what the moon is doing, what sign it's in, and which one of your houses it goes through, so that you know what areas of life you're supported in and on what days. So week 1, Tuesday the 1st of October until Sunday the 6th of October. On the 1st, we have the moon in Virgo, and that's in your 7th house of relationships. So you start the month with real insight and good fortune in your romantic relationships. If you're with someone and you haven't been quite clear if this is the one or where it's leading, it's likely that on the 1st you get some sort of understanding around that. And if you're dating, the 1st of October is also really great because you're likely to pick up on who the person really is rather than just what you're being told. You're very intuitive and you're very supported in meeting new people, but particularly romantic relationships. On the 2nd and 3rd of October, we've got the moon in Libra. And particularly on the 2nd of October, we have a new moon in Libra, which is also a solar eclipse. So I made a separate video on that and gone into quite a lot of detail. Have a look at that video. But for you guys, Pisces, the eclipse happens in your 8th house of institutions and governments and hospitals and corporations and communities, right? And a new moon is when the moon goes pitch black. It pulls a lot of energy in order to recharge itself for its next cycle. And it's pulling in Libra energy. So you have a great connection to all of those groups and institutions and religions. So if there's anything that you want to change in those relationships, or you want to make a new connection, or you want to broaden your network, the 2nd and 3rd of October are really great to do that. And to be around as many people as possible is going to be a good idea. It'll inspire you. On the 4th, 5th, and 6th, the moon goes into Scorpio, and it goes into your 9th house of the higher realms and travel and education and broadening your horizons. And it's next to Venus in Scorpio. So on these days, 4th, 5th, 6th, I think you're going to come across some bit of information, or you'll become familiar with a place, and you're going to have very strong, instant feelings for it. Like you read about a particular subject and you're like, oh my God, I'm fascinated. I've never heard this. I've got to study more. Or you watch a program about an island somewhere that you've never heard of and you're like, oh my God, I'm supposed to live there. This is it. So if you get any of those super, super intense emotional hits, trust them. They're meant to show up in your life, and by pursuing them, it'll enrich your experience. In terms of the houses that the moon touches in the first week here, it starts in your 7th, goes through your 8th, and ends in the 9th. So in astrology, that's called the 3rd quadrant, right? And it's the quadrant that has to do with relationships and employment and institutions like colleges and schools. And it's really your place out there in the public. So the first week here of October, you're really able to make good connections, which will make you reevaluate your role in those places. And I think you'll be left after the first week with a sense of, I fit in here, I belong here, I love this is my home. Or the opposite, I don't belong here, this doesn't fit. Maybe I should find a new community or group that would be a better fit. So that's something that's going to be really helpful to you here in the first week. Then week 2, Monday to Sunday, 7th to 13th of October. On the 7th and 8th, we've got the moon in Sagittarius, and that's in your 10th house of career. So you're really likely to have some good news in your working life on the 7th and 8th. Either you get promoted, or someone offers you a work trip, or someone says, hey, do you want to take on more responsibility? That then could lead to a better position in the company. But really, on the 7th and 8th, as far as your work is concerned, something good happens and something expands and moves forward. Then the moon goes into Capricorn on the 9th and 10th. And the moon in Capricorn is very much about doing the work, right? And again, it takes you back to relationships, and it says, listen, if there are any relationships in my life right now that are problematic or that aren't working or that are causing me grief, I want to work to make that right. But I just want to say, Pisces, that instead focus on the successes you're having in work. I think if you try and make it right in a relationship on the 9th and 10th, it's a case of no good deed goes unpunished. I think you'll make it worse and you'll be blamed for it. Your good intentions won't be recognized. So focus on things you can control, like all the career success and progress. On the 10th of October, the moon is in its second quarter, so it's waxing towards becoming a full moon on the 17th of October. So the conflict could be quite intense. So try and minimize that on the 9th and 10th of October. The moon then goes into Aquarius on the 11th and 12th, and that's going to be a 2-day period where you feel majorly connected to the spiritual, and you'll get lots of new ideas. So if you're a Pisces who's an artist or in the arts, a painter, a performer, or you're a scientist or an educator, you're not going to be stuck for ideas. You're going to be massively inspired to do things differently, to consider something else, which will be very interesting to you. Pluto goes direct on the 11th as well. With the outer planets, right, they stay in retrograde for about 6 months. So the retrogrades that are really significant are the personal planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus. But with the outer planets, when they do go retrograde, I think that the energy is expressed from within, and when they're direct, it's without. So Pluto going direct is kind of like a rebirth of your life and new ideas and new structures coming in. So that's really positive too. Pluto is in Capricorn at the moment, and it's retrograding. Or it has been retrograding since September. So it left Aquarius and went back into Capricorn. It's now gone direct, but it's going to stay in Capricorn until the 19th of November. So with that, in your 11th house, Pisces, you're able to kind of rejig the structures of your life, because after the 19th of November, you're not going to be so interested in that. It will just be about giving voice to new ideas and trying different things. So you have some wiggle room to make things more comfortable for yourself. On the 13th, the moon then goes into Pisces in your first house of self, and it's in your sign. So the 13th is going to be a really nice day where, again, you get a lot of ideas. The imagination is fired, but also it's a good day to just relax and decompress and to enjoy the sense of well-being. Also on the 13th, Mercury, the communication planet, that ingresses into Scorpio. And it goes into your 9th house. And what's also up there is the personal planet Venus in Scorpio in your 9th house. So with the move of Mercury, I think you're going to have this longing now to learn new things or to travel or to explore and to make your life bigger. I think that's the theme I'm picking up on here for you, Pisces, is that the success at the beginning of the month with work has really now inspired you to explore and to try out new things. And it's really an upswing in terms of your optimism and your levels of confidence and happiness. So week 2, the moon moved through the 10th, 11th, and 12th houses, and that's quadrant 4. That's really about transcending the self. So I think something transcends, something improves in your working life, which then encourages you as well that, hey, if this worked, if this improved, maybe then other dreams can happen to me too. So I really think you get an upswing and you become much more open-minded, because one thing then gives you a lot of faith that other good things could happen. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, 14th to 20th of October. On the 14th and 15th, the moon is still in Pisces, so that sense of well-being extended for a few days. The moon goes into Aries on the 16th and 17th, and I think you'll find that something to do with your finances now is healed and is making a lot more progress and not an issue the way it was in the past. So it could be that at the beginning of the month you get this good news about your work, and then here on the 16th and 17th that the check kind of shows up. I think the 16th, 17th, you'll either get a windfall or you'll get more money coming in. It's a really good 2-day period for you in terms of finances. Especially the 17th, because we have a full moon in Aries. I'll make a separate video on that, but for you, Pisces, that full moon in Aries happens in your second house of money, and Aries is about bulldozing obstacles out of your way. So some sort of financial problem that you've had will be removed on the 16th and 17th of October. And also on the 7th, Venus, 17th, Venus ingresses into Sagittarius, and it goes into your 10th house of career. So Venus is love and giving life to things. In Sagittarius, it's the journey, it's exploration. So now really your career is even more supported, and from the 18th onwards, things will grow and become even better. So you're looking at a month of major joy when it comes to your working life. On the 18th, 19th, the moon then goes into Taurus, and that's in your third house of communication. That's great for doing any creative work, pottery, floristry, design, art, connecting with another person on a romantic, intimate level. So it's really artistic, creative, and harmonious. So creativity and love is really supported on the 18th and 19th. And then the 20th, the moon goes into Gemini, and that's in your fourth house of family. So I think the great relationships extend from partners and now into close friends and family members. And the 20th, as well as the next day in the next week, the 21st, are wonderful for family relationships, spending time, enjoying each other's company. I think even to the extent where you could take a difficult relationship you have with a family member and you can reconcile. So if you've been estranged from one or more of your family members and you want to change that, then my suggestion would be the best time of this month would be the 20th and 21st of October. On the 22nd and 23rd, the moon then goes into Cancer in your fifth house of what you love and romance, and it gets even better in terms of love and romance. These 2 days are where you're very nurturing and affectionate. You have an interest in having an emotional and a physical connection with someone, and it's really a good time to be with someone and be taken care of and take care of them. It's like perfect for a 50-50 equal relationship with someone. So if you meet someone on those days, the 22nd or 23rd, you can pretty much accept that this person is good and right for you. On the 22nd, we have the sun going into Scorpio. So that heightens your intuition. So it makes sense that if you immediately understand who this person is on an intuitive level, that you're not going to pick wrong. And then the moon goes into Leo on the 24th and 25th. And those 2 days are, again, great for you in work, in the everyday routine of your life, in other people appreciating you. If you can really put yourself out there in work, like if you can speak up at a meeting, or you can make a public presentation, or take on some sort of public role, the 24th and 25th of October are really the best days for it, and you'll make the best impression in those kind of circumstances. On the 24th as well, the moon is in its fourth quarter, and it's waning away towards being a new moon. So that confidence, that ability to present, isn't going to be seen as arrogant. It's going to be seen as just right. So if there's, even if it's not work related, if there's anything where you do have to present or put yourself in the spotlight where you got a bunch of eyes on you, do it on the 24th, 25th. You might even enjoy it and do very well. Then the moon goes into Virgo on the 26th, 27th, 28th. And that is another great time for you in relationships. Existing relationships, things will go well, but particularly new romantic relationships. Your inner guidance system for red flags is going to be super on point. You won't ignore the red flags, and you'll be able to see the green flags as well. So you're doing, wow, I think Pisces, you're having one of the best months ever here, because work-wise and relationship-wise, everything is really going your way. It looks fab. And then the 29th, 30th, and 31st, we've got the moon going into Libra, and that goes into your 8th house. So that's a time where you're able to really get your foot in the door of institutions. Like if you want to work for the New York Post and everyone's like, you can't get that job, it's impossible. Writing to them may give you some sort of connection you want to make that seems unlikely, with the support of the moon in Libra in your 8th house on the 29th, 30th, and 31st, means that it's possible to achieve the unlikely. So any community, any group, any organization, company, religion, whatever, that you want to connect with, do it at the end of the month, because you're likely to make that connection in a satisfying way. And then on the 31st of October, so on Halloween, that's really still good for you in terms of making business connections. It's now not that great for personal relationships. So I don't know if you celebrate Halloween or not, but there's no requirement. I think if you continue to write to people you want to work with or collaborate with, you'll have more to show for that kind of activity. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in October. I hope you have a wonderful month. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. And to draw up your chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where I work it out. And that's important because the chart changes every 4 minutes. So the more accurate the time, the more accurate the chart is. Check out some of my other videos, the videos on the new moons, the full moons, and I also do a daily tarot reading on this channel. Please become a member to watch that. I'm with you every day. So I hope this has given you something to go on. I hope you have a wonderful month in October, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.